The great thing about acting is that you can live another life, but not really. You can go through the most dramatic of circumstances and test your will and your strength and your character and every other thing, but not really. I mean, you can come to the brink of death, but not really. And how many people, I mean, in your own life you take those risks and, you actually might fall over the cliff or something, but in acting there's always the end of the day and you go home and have dinner. To me, that's having it all. I like to play act. I like to pretend. I like to make believe.
Do you ever find
like a kid, the moments that you fly, where you really lift off, are real few and rare, and on a set, on a day, and they have to be guarded, They still happen for me. As soon as that goes away, then I'll get out. I came to it slowly because it took me a long time to really figure out that it was a worthwhile thing to do with my life. It always seemed frivolous to me, from the outside. Show business.
But now you're regarded as a serious art, a serious profession.
Some parts of it are. Some parts of it are silly. But the thing itself is... Certainly, I mean, I need it in my own life like food.
We're storytellers. We're in the business of communication. And that's what I love about it. First of all, this is something that's been there since the beginning of time. When they had the campfire and the people are getting around and they have a story to tell and they're telling about what's going on in the village next. But when it comes time for the work, for me, there's a real spiritual side to it. After you prepare, you do your homework, all of that stuff, and you're in there with the other person. But then I just try to let it come through me, Let the spirit come. And because acting is, yes, it's entertaining people, but it's inviting people, at its best, it's inviting people on a spiritual journey and informing us all about something that is important, whatever that story happens to be. And so you need to just kind of release. And it's a good feeling because then you don't feel that you have to do it, generate it all from yourself. It's coming from a place that is unknown to you almost, It's the spirit, the spirit of telling the stories, the spirit of communicating, the spirit of loving your fellow man.
And all the plays are in him. All is in him. And he has made a choice. It's either life or theater. It's either life or being killed every night, murdered, slain, devoured, miserable, dedicated. And that's the life of the actor. It is not glamour, it is not money, it is serving the play and the public and giving everything to art. That is the thing.
I don't think as a group, actors are what I'd call happy people. Mm-hmm. I think we're very moody people. I think we have, great ups and great downs. If something goes well or if something turns out badly, you're depressed for days. And I think we're terribly peculiar that way and rather lonely people, actually. It takes great discipline, and I think I was very fortunate in my upbringing. I think my New England background for the work I went into was extraordinary stabilizer. And I also was an extremely healthy person. I didn't have to do this. And, enthusiastic, loved my work. I really, in that area, had no problems. You can't work the way I did for 15 or 20 years and do any of that. It's just impossible. I don't think probably there's any work in the world that involves nerves as much as public performing. I think you'll agree with me on that. I think it isn't physical. It's this terrible nervous strain of wanting to do it right and being scared you won't. Well, what it takes out of you is astronomical. You know that. And when you think you do it, years and years and years. And if you're not a very strong person, but it's big discipline. Oh, it really is. You've got to be an enormously disciplined person.
There are certain things that you have to go through in order to achieve something. There usually has to be some sort of sacrifice. There usually has to be a call to the journey. And there usually is a transformation of who you are, and obstacles and things that burn away and purge you into the person that you become.
You mustn't put anything on your body which doesn't feed the play and which doesn't feed your soul. Because you're not acting words. You are not acting words. That is not part of the tradition in which this playwright wrote a play. You cannot dress that way. You cannot use a bottle that way. You cannot use candles that way. And I don't want to be subjected to it. Do you understand? I can't get anywhere with you in the part.
I apologize for not being prepared.
I accept your apology, knowing that it will help you and that you will do a lot to change it. You did the Chekhov and you have the talent. What you don't have is a sense, which Americans don't have, of the style. And that you must achieve.
It's not really rehearsing that you're doing, it's devising, because everybody's going like, what is this scene, what are we doing? And it's because the narrative is sort of forgotten for a little while sometimes. It seems to be that a lot of the thoughts that you have when just reading the script, you're not just learning lines, but when you're reading the script again and again and again, every time you read it, you get new ideas and you write them down in your script. So along with the words that you're meant to be learning, you're also kind of remembering and learning these notes and these scribbles and these ideas. It's a difficult thing, making yourself very vulnerable to criticism, to condemnation, to personal slander. There's not many other walks of life where you are criticised so personally. You are bad. I hate that actor. Gets said, you know, oh, I hate that actor. It's a strong word. Some people are great actors, but they can't deal with the lifestyle because you're constantly being judged. There is so much rejection, even for people who work regularly. Drama school is a great idea. I really do believe that. And theatre school is a fantastic idea. It's 2 or 3 years where you get to be in an environment that is safe. Your vulnerability is protected. Nowhere in the professional world will you manage to get 20 gigs in 3 years playing, you know, all these different characters. You're there, you're kind of there to fail.
Those are very challenging and require research and kind of emotional preparation to open up to a sensitivity to that. And that's a beautiful part of my work, to understand different cultures. I think what resonates with me more than anything is the universality of that suffering, to give you the space to evolve as an actor. While I'm attracted to portraying the characters with some social relevance and weight and great dramatic intensity, that is not all that I aspire to do and not all that I gravitate towards. My objective has always been to try and follow a very clear path as an artist, and to take risk first and foremost, to require the growth. And if you force yourself to embark on journeys that are a challenge, you have to prevail. Or you may fail, but you will grow from that opportunity. I've really made a conscious effort to try and stretch.
I asked the actor to, for the most part, to give me too much, so I can then take it down to a level that I feel is believable. I don't like casting actors who are low-key people. I like people with energy. So in the initial casting, I think that half of what a director does is cast his picture well, and the other half is you know, the control of the people within that. But I think half of the secret, when you do see a good picture and you like the people, it's in the casting. I like people who are outspoken and who are very large so I can bring them down to
I
life.
never liked watching myself on screen. It's not one of my favorite things to do.
Explain that. Why not?
I spent 20 years on the stage. On the stage, you only see yourself through the eyes of the audience. And you are really kicking butt, you know. You just, I got this. I'm all over this role. But when you see yourself, or at least when I see myself, I'm not all over it. I'm just me. And I'm not hidden well enough. On stage, you can hide, you know, because it's all just psychic. If you can see yourself, you know, you're doing the same old cliche
Isn't the
things.
stage more rewarding?
Ultimately, yeah,
Feel
instant
the
gratification.
audience.
Yeah.
I have stood behind the door before going in to meet the audience, and I've said out loud for every single episode of both, I've said, how have I got myself into this position? It is so frightening. Because, you know, if you do a comedy, if you do any play, you have, well, we used to, of course, years ago, you used to have any previews, you used to just open cold for a first night. But now we have previews, so now for a comedy, you will have a preview, and the audience will then tell you what they feel about it and how they feel. You know, you have this enormous ear and enormous eyes so that you can see and hear and pick up absolutely every nuance that you get. But with a situation comedy, you stand there on a Sunday night having rehearsed for 5 or 6 days, and then you walk out there and then you do it. You do it in front of an audience. You do it at comedy in front of an audience, live.
I think it has more to do with the phrasing of things and the way you can turn certain lines.
You mean say certain lines in different ways and give it different meaning?
Yes, phrasing or stressing, various things like
that. Is there an example?
I can't believe that it is all in a voice.
No.
It's one of those curious things that if you do get a laugh on a certain line, which is unexpected. I mean, I can only talk about laughs because that is an immediate thing. I've done it once in a play, a coward play, not the one I'm in, because the moment you say something is funny, it's gossamer, it's gone,
yes,
really.
Yes.
I had one line which was very small and not really very funny, and I had to say at a breakfast, this haddock is disgusting. And it is not funny. I mean, nobody has laughed. But the whole situation was such that when I said it, I suppose I summed up the fact that the entire weekend was horrendous. Everything was ghastly. And the haddock was just the final thing. And it summed the whole thing up in one. And the audience roared with laughter. But unfortunately, the critics mentioned it. And after that, it never, ever got a laugh.
Yes.
My particular brand of comedy, and I think I can speak for Catherine too, is that, you know, the comedy has to come out of a real place to be funny for me. I mean, I like sketch comedy. We started out doing sketch comedy, and I enjoy watching it now. I'm not particularly interested in doing it now. But comedy that is grounded and everything coming out of a real situation, to me, is what's funny. Those are the movies that I enjoy, and those are the television shows that I enjoy, and that's what we tried to do with this show, was to make it a real show with real people that you care about and still make it funny, you know, but the comedy has to come through the characters, not stand alone on a page.
How do I try to do it? I mean,
I'm looking for property, looking for...
Everything at the end of the day when you're making a movie starts with the material and how well written the script is. I've never seen a silk purse made from a sow's ear. I've never seen it happen wherein a crap script with crap characters, a director somehow found a way to make a masterpiece out of it. And that's the constant struggle that we all sort of have as actors, is finding those gems. And that's why people grab onto them like vultures. When you find a great piece of material or a great script, it's like, you should see what happens. It's like a piranha feeding fest. Everyone wants it.